you should probably expect spoilers.
In a heavy New York accent, he's just called you a loser. What do? You do nothing, because he's probably right. Who dat? It's Alex. Here's something you don't see every day. You remember that Ryu guy? You know, the one, wears a red headband, throws a lot of Hadoukens around? Yeah, him. At one point during the late 1990s, Capcom thought it would be a wicked idea to par him off in favour of creating a new poster boy for the next generation of Street Fighter. Fair enough, I suppose. Shit happens. No hard feelings, eh, Ryu? So then, who was going to be the face of Street Fighter? Who was going to be the icon that represents a new generation? It was... Alex. This was a bold move on Capcom's part. To take someone like Ryu and relegate him to the side while putting a grapple character on the center stage was a ballsy decision. At the time, it was met with some expected outcry, and a lot of Street Fighter fans couldn't understand the reasoning behind this. If something isn't broke, don't fix it, right? Well, I didn't really see it like that. To me, Capcom had proven they were capable of creating amazing, memorable characters who would always find an appeal with their audience. They were masters of character design. To have the Street Fighter 3 series come in and throw us a bucket load of new characters didn't feel like they were breaking what wasn't broken. It felt like they were tuning it up and expanding on what it was meant to be. And if Capcom wanted to place Alex on the forefront to usher in a new generation for the series, then quite frankly, so be it. I didn't care that Alex pushed Ryu to the side to become the face of the Street Fighter 3 series. All I cared about was if he was a good enough character to fall under the Street Fighter flag in general. So the question is, was he? Well, we're going to find out soon enough. But first, just who the hell is Alex and what is he about? Well, the story goes like this. Hailing from Manhattan, New York, Alex lost both his parents at a young age and was raised by his father's friend Tom, who taught... Hang on a second. That's him, yeah? That's Tom. That man there? Bruv, that man looked like that one actor Jean Reno. You know the one? The guy that was in Leon? Yeah, him. So alright, starting over. Alex was raised by his father's friend Jean Reno, who taught Alex how to fight. One day, Tom gets the shit kicked out of him and Alex wants revenge. Tom didn't die though, he just got heavily roughed up, but that was more than enough to send Alex out on a journey to find the son of a bitch. Alex learns that the Third World Warrior tournament is being sponsored by the same man who hospitalized Tom, so Alex enters the tournament in the hopes that it will lead it to him. Alex wins every match and makes his way to the final round against the sponsor himself, Gil, who is also a leader of the secret society known as the Illuminati. Rah, that situation peaked. Imagine that, yeah? You call up your brethren one day to find out how they're doing and they're like, "Oi fam, they fucked me up, you know."
What? Who did? Bruv, tell me, I'ma call the man, then we're gonna run up on them tonight, rude boy. Shit's gonna get militant. Tell me who done it.
It was the Illuminati.
Waste, man.
Hello? Alex fights Gil and wins, therefore avenging Tom. Beating Gil also means that Alex is now the new World Warrior Champion too, which is nice. Alex returns home to find that Tom has healed considerably. Tom seems to notice a more mature air about Alex now, and Alex himself agrees, saying that he feels he's gained a wealth of experience and is longing to get back out there to journey the world once more. The passion for street fighting had grown within him. Even though there was no tournament held the following year, Alex still travelled in search of opponents to face. It was during this second journey that he met Ryu, the former world champion who was eliminated in last year's tournament at the hands of Oro. Alex and Ryu have a friendly match to which Alex loses, stating that Ryu was far stronger than he had expected. Alex feels more excited and inspired than ever to train himself further, seeing Ryu as a new rival that he wishes to someday beat. And that's where things have been left. In terms of the canon order events, according to the in-game timeline, Alex is still currently the champion of the World Warrior Tournament, and the Illuminati are keeping a close eye on him, no doubt having him in their plans for something world-changing. Whatever that something is, however, still remains to be officially seen.
Visual design.
You'd be correct in saying that you feel there's a somewhat military vibe radiating off of Alex, and that's because his mentor Tom was a military veteran. The moves he taught down to Alex were the fighting skills he learnt from being in the army, and it seems more than likely some of the fashion sense rubbed off on him too, hence the camouflage green overalls and combat boots. Alex then rocks it up a bit by tying a red bandana to his forehead and letting his long blonde hair flow over the sides. The rest of his hair is kept in a ponytail that hangs wildly down his back. Throw on some red face paint under the eyes and sure, why not, throw some of that shit on his shoulders as well, and you have Alex.
At least I hope that's red paint, because if it isn't, then homeboy here has been getting emotional with a machete.
Alex has got a few little elements about him that seem to homage famous American wrestler Hulk Hogan, the most notable one being the well-known ripping of the shirt action that Hogan used to do before a match. There's even a special pre-fight intro between him and another character called Hugo, where just before the fight begins, instead of doing their usual intros, the two combatants will be standing in close proximity to one another, staring each other down. This is a homage to Hulk Hogan's famous main event match with Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 in 1987. It's also worth noting that the character Hugo is actually based off of Andre the Giant, therefore building upon Alex's homage to Hogan. Because of these little homages, some people think that Alex's visual design was also based off Hogan's too, but I don't really see it. Alex has a ponytail where Hogan has not. Hogan has a weird horseshoe moustache beard, and Alex is as clean shaven as a fresh pencil. The only thing about their appearance that might match up is the use of a red bandana, but even then Alex wears it differently, mimicking more the style of Guns N' Roses frontman Axl Rose than Hulk Hogan's. Even the names Alex and Axl are uncomfortably similar. You want to be careful there, Capcom. His lawsuits might welcome you to the jungle. Overall, Alex ticks a lot of boxes from a design perspective, mainly because there's not too much going on with him and his design is fairly safe in execution. The naked torso shows off his impressive muscles, telling you this guy is more of a powerhouse brawler. The green overalls are worn with the straps off the shoulders, showing you he doesn't want to feel restricted in his movements, and the red bandana is there to keep his hair out of his face, but some strands are hanging over the sides, implying his movements are heavy hitting, forcing the strands to often come loose. His entire image tells you he's constantly ready for action. While his appearance might differ heavily from Ryu's more clean-cut, disciplined look, everything about Alex's design carries the word street in Street Fighter. If the new generation were to portray a much more rugged era in the series, then Alex's design definitely brought that vibe with it. To me, this still felt like Street Fighter, but now it looked like we were really gonna go down into the streets to throw down.
Personality.
Our boy Alex is from New York. Naturally, he's from the rougher ends of town and therefore he's used to seeing shit kick off. The fact that he's grown up around that environment also means that he's ready to kick shit off himself and has a terribly short temper because of it. This is made evident by the fact that his mentor Tom got smacked up by a girl and left in the hospital. Tom says to Alex that at the end of the day it was just a fight and the better man won, there was no need to get bent out of shape over it, but Alex wouldn't listen to that. He wanted to go out there and get some of that New York styled payback. No doubt the streets probably taught him to do this. When you see your loved ones get rolled on, it's time to bring it back to the ones responsible, so that's what Alex does. This doesn't mean Alex is a monster though. He's got a short temper, but it's usually accurately directed to the cause of the trouble and not Alex going off like a loose cannon every which way. He's also quite forward in what he says, choosing not to mince his words and telling you directly what is on his mind. A lot of his win quotes from the first two entries in the 3 series saw high levels of smack talk coming from him, with Alex generally insulting the abilities of his opponents. Then a rather interesting development occurred in the 3rd entry. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike saw Alex simmer down those hard-tongued insults in favour of being more focused on reviewing the opponent he just faced. Instead of telling his opponents to stay down because they lacked skill, Alex was now offering small points of advice, such as a lack of spirit will always lead to defeat. This shows a clear evolution within the character's personality. In the run-up to facing Gil and earning his payback for Tom, Alex was a hard-talking guy with insults to throw around. But in Third Strike, he had come back from his journey and understood that street fighting was a whole lot more than just busting some heads and insulting the losers. He's not the same inexperienced kid from the streets of New York anymore. He's seen the world and he knows it's bigger than a block in Manhattan. That 1 year gap and the journey he took within it had evolved the character considerably.
Importance.
Being the lead protagonist for the Street Fighter 3 series, Alex is naturally going to be a character that the main canon story arc focuses on, as you'd expect. That said though, unlike Ryu, who seemed to cross paths with almost half of the other characters in the Alpha and Street Fighter 2 series, Alex only has a fraction of characters from the Street Fighter 3 series that he's connected to. Does it make him any less important? Not in the slightest. In fact, the story unfolding within the Street Fighter 3 arc might even go as far as painting Alex in a more important role to the world's events than Ryu does now. How so? Well, we've established that by this point in the timeline, Shadaloo has been completely shut down. The Illuminati are essentially top billing, and there had been hints that they were even pulling strings within Shadaloo themselves anyway, so it definitely seems like the Illuminati have always been the organisation at the top of the food chain in terms of power and control. Gil has clear plans for the world's future, which involves creating a utopia of only the most gifted and genetically superior human beings. It will be in this utopia that they shall reside during the end of days while the rest of humanity perishes. Then after the apocalypse, these surviving humans that were chosen by Gil would repopulate the earth. Some big things. And within all that heavy planning, Gil saw something incredibly important within Alex. The leader of the Illuminati, probably one of the most powerful beings to exist on planet Earth, sees something intriguing in this ruffian from the streets of New York. What those plans were had not been revealed, since there's not been any more games in the series that are set after Third Strike. Regardless of that fact though, Alex's importance within the series will remain paramount because the main antagonist deems him such a worthy asset. Aside from Alex being connected to all this shady string pulling stuff, he is connected to other characters within smaller arcs too. He's got his supporting cast in Tom and Tom's biological daughter, Pat. The three of them live together as a family, so Alex always has a home to go to and characters to connect with. It was Tom who trained Alex, and it was also because of what happened to Tom that Alex went out to see the world in the first place, so this little family unit was the initial drive to get the character rolling. Then there's a sort of rivalry between Alex and Hugo. It's not really much of a rivalry, to be honest. The two do face off and they even have their homaging intro animation that I mentioned earlier, but aside from that they don't dwell in each other's business. I think it was more of a case of the pair had crossed paths and what with both of them being grapplers, they decided to throw down to see who was stronger. That's about it. Ryu on the other hand is a character that Alex sees an incredible rival in. They officially faced off in Third Strike for a friendly match because Alex had heard rumours about this Ryu guy and wanted to see what all the fuss was about. Alex gets his ass handed to him, and after that all he could think about was meeting Ryu again and fighting him. Ryu became the biggest motivational drive for Alex to get stronger. Alex even airs off a camping trip with his fam just so he can travel the world chasing after Ryu's bum bum. Dude is literally fiending for it right about now. On a real thing, it's always humbling when a series does this, but it has to be done properly. Push either character too much and you run the risk of destroying the pair of them. Thankfully that's not the case here. With Street Fighter 3 you get to see the new protagonist meet the previous lead character, and there is an eagerness to pass on the baton without fully passing it over yet. Having two generations meet on terms such as these allows their universe to expand further without either side feeling out of character, and in turn it keeps Alex's importance to the world they come from firmly locked in place.
Conclusion.
It's been nearly 20 years since he powerbombed his way into the series. He was met with some apprehension initially, and I guess I can't blame the fans for having that concern. Street Fighter is a big name after all, and Ryu is a big character. It's a tall order to come in here and take the lead from someone as well known as Ryu. Capcom themselves knew this too, which is why the spot has gone back to Ryu from the release of Street Fighter 4 onwards. Ryu keeps things safe for them. I can dig it. That being said though, it's nice to see the Street Fighter 3 series pick up traction over the years too. It was a slow burner at first, but it's gained such an incredibly strong fan base now, and sitting at the head of it is this boy from the Big Apple. Alex has certainly earned his stripes, and finally got his own fans waiting in the wings to support him. So, lead character or not, does Alex have the credentials to sit under the Street Fighter flag in general? Of course he does, I've been praising him the whole episode. On a closing note, if Capcom ever do want to continue Alex's story so we can see what they had planned for him, then I would be pretty down for that. So, in your own time, Capcom. Whenever you're ready. Go right ahead. We're gonna be waiting a long time, you know.
That ease, loser.